I didn't want to see any mice anymore. I was sick of it now. They didn't even bother going around and under the wardrobe. I don't know if they had like a hut in the wardrobe or a nest, or I don't know what was going on. But they just went straight from under. They had no respect. None. None. Hi, I'm Elsa. Disney named their princess after me. Okay, stop. I lived at university for 3 years. I lived in 3 separate houses each year with people that I didn't know each year. First year was fine. Ish. No, it was fine. Second year was, the house kind of hated each other. So it wasn't outright war, but there was always an underlying issue and a very angry texts sent. And third year was third year was the best year. Best housemates, best house, but the house was infested. And I don't like infested stuff. So one person had lived there the year before, and she stayed in the house, and 2 people knew each other, and they moved into the house kind of together because they had the same uni accommodation thingy, so that was fine. And then I moved in, so all talking to each other. You know, I was asking the girl about the house. You know, is it good? You know, about her, good. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, we did have the slight issue of the mice last year." Mice? I could feel my stomach turn. It was that moment in a reality show where the music goes sinister. She's like,
"Oh yeah, we did have the slight issue with the mice last year."
Mice? I was disgusted when she said that. I felt like I was gonna throw up. But I had to keep it together because it was new.
around the middle of October, I started to notice little tiny things in the house, in my room, that were making me like, you know, I always had it in my brain that there had been mice in this house, but I thought a whole summer has passed. The girl that lived there the year before has a dog, and he's been roaming around. So if Jerry is in the house, if the Jerrys are in the house, the dog would have handled it. That's what I thought. I started to notice little things in my room, okay? So I had a bin that I got from, oh, it doesn't matter. I got it was a tiny bin in my room, which I barely even put anything in it. Well, at the start I'd put like pieces of fruit and stuff in it, but it was in a bag and it had a lid and a little flap thing. So I was sat in my room, you know, doing work at night, and when I did work at uni in my room, I did it in the dark, so there was no lights on. I was there with my dressing gown and the hoodie on, typing away, and then I had just randomly heard my bin lid, because it was one of those flappy bins, start flapping. And I was like, what? And I convinced myself that the wind, even though I never opened the windows because my room apparently had a lot of spiders. The girl that lived there the year before I did used to always open her window and see so many spiders. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I just left the window open, and my door open sometimes, you know, just to let the airflow go in. So I convinced myself that it's for sure the little bit of my... Jerry knows. He knows not to come in here. So I had just kind of ignored that and forgotten about it, and I was still operating as normal for the first kind of 3 months of university, and I was not really at home too much because it was the third year where you do your dissertation and you do the actual like hard stuff. So it was coming to Christmas break, and then the truth of the accommodation really started to show. So one of my housemates, there was 3 of us upstairs and 1 person downstairs. I always wanted the room next to the bathroom, so that I'm not like in my towel trying to get through, because my first year house gave me too much trouble. So second year, third year, I was always the room next to the bathroom. Anywho, just thinking about the uni bathrooms make me sick. Yeah, so now we had come towards Christmas break, and my housemate with the biggest room, the other girl, she went back home, and the guy downstairs, he was going back home. You know, that day I told we walked together. We happened to be leaving the house at the same time, so I walked to the to Lidl, and he was walking off to the station. And I was just saying I'll probably stay here for another week, get some work done, then go home for Christmas and do my work job, and then, you know, just hang out with family, which ended up happening. But so I went home for Christmas. No, so I can't even speak. Yeah, so he went home for Christmas, and I'm thinking I'm gonna stay here for another week, get some work done. It's fine, you know, uni house. You know, the other guy was in the house. He was an international student from Zimbabwe, I think it was Zimbabwe, and he was staying there, but he was barely in the house anyway. The night that all this happened, you know, I told him I went to Lidl, did my cooking, just normal. I was sat again in the dark doing work in my room, and then I had noticed that it's like, so the way that my room was set up was, it was a tiny little rectangle room like this. I had my bed behind me in a corner. Opposite that was wardrobe, chest of drawers, my desk, and my door was right behind me. So I had noticed that from, it was like my, thinking about it, from my bed to my, God, the cringe, just thinking that was in my room, and I was sat with mice in my room. But anyways, from my desk to my bed, it was a single bed because it was a tiny room. So from my desk to my room, and I wasn't one of those people that made your uni room cozy, because I was one of those people that's like, I don't know who's been here before, I'll kind of just chill in here, but I'm not getting too comfortable. You know, people at uni are dirty, so they're dirty, so I'm not getting too comfortable in here. So anyways, back to the point. So I was sat in my room, and I saw like something flying like across my floor like a few times, and I was like, you know, trying to figure out what on earth that was. Just something like a few times, like flat against my room. Mind you, I'm sat on my desk, and I've got my dressing gown with a hoodie on, and I'm sat in the dark, and I'm like, it's not the mice. The mice, they know me. Jerry knows me. He knows not to come in here. So, and I didn't keep any food in my room. I convinced myself that it was like the little strap bit that you used to tie up yourself in your dressing gown that had flown off and fell through the gap of my chair, because it was an office chair, you know, with the armrest. So I convinced myself through the gap it had fallen a few times and swung. So I convinced myself of that and gave myself peace of mind. I was like, that's what happened. That's what happened. We're in a quarantine while the doorbell keeps going off. What's going on here? So around 2:30, 3 a.m. I started noticing from my bed to my wardrobe, something was moving across the floor. And I thought it was just an extension cable, you know, for my wires and stuff that was next to my bed. I was like, it's just an extension. Jerry knows. I always told Jerry, he knows me. He knows not. Duh. But I was wrong. I just kept seeing things going past. I was like, what on earth is that? Please, God, please. One time, I just switched off whatever I was watching. I think I might have been watching Netflix. I was one of those boring people at uni that didn't go to parties, by the way. So I was just sat, and I just decided to just switch it off but turn it down to try and trick Jerry. I was trying to be Tom. So I tried to, you know, turn it down and switch it off, and I was just watching. Then I see him. He didn't even run. You know how usually mice, they run quick. He didn't, if he was walking. He was and he wasn't alone. 2 mice in like 5 seconds, just boom, boom. I let out the loudest gasp you've ever. I couldn't even usually I'm like, I'm someone who will scream. I couldn't even. And then another one comes underneath my wardrobe. 2 have just gone in, and one comes underneath the wardrobe and he's like this, looking at me. I said, no, you're lying. I just stood up. I stood up and I was like, nope, That second, National Express, Portsmouth to London, 3 a.m. I went, I took a shower, because I had, it was basically morning time anyway, it was 3 a.m. I took a shower, I took the 5 a.m. National Express from Portsmouth to London. I'm not dealing with it. I texted my landlord, I was going to stay there an extra week. I can't live with mice. Sort it out before I get back. But I didn't say it like that. I was like, hello, Elsa here. I just want to say, that was mice. So I got to London at 8 a.m. Well, not like, I got home at 8 a.m. But I got to London like 6:30 or something. And there was no train. So I had to go on bus replacements with my whole Christmas luggage. When Christmas break had ended, I reluctantly went back to my uni accommodation because I knew something's going to go down. I went back around the 17th. The latest I could go back, I went back around the 17th. And I only live an hour and a half by train to my uni village place, Portsmouth. So for the first 10 days I was there, from like the 17th to the 27th of January, stop doing that. So from the 17th to the 27th of January, everything was fine. No, seriously, everything was fine. My housemate was one of those, she was one of those people that, she was one of those people that wasn't really like too bothered by mice. She didn't really want it in her room, but she's not going to be like me, who's like, is a big fear. So she kind of was just taking videos of it, and I'm not joking.
Where'd you go? You can't be in here. Go outside.
Like it's a dog. Like Jerry's a dog. Like Jerry. I know some people are probably like, mice, come on. They're not even harmful. They're harmful to me. Okay? They mess with my heart. Oh God. Sorry, my ring light just switched off. Sorry, so they're harmful to me, okay? They mess with my heart, okay? So then it happened. My biggest fear. The night of the 28th of January. This is like the part of the horror film or the true crime series when they're like, 20th of January, it all went down. So on the night of the 28th of January, it went wrong, okay? Okay, so because of, previous experiences, I no longer sat in the dark anymore to do work. But, I was still treating the house the same because I thought that they had put, they told me they put traps everywhere. I went in the house, I saw traps everywhere. But they put non-harmful sticky pads, so that they could catch them. But if I saw a mouse on a sticky pad, I ain't touching that sticky pad. Someone else has to deal with that. That has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you. Don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about it. It has not. Listen, I'll leave it up to you to deal with it. You can deal with it. Okay? So they put they put things in place to make sure that the mice won't be in the house. And they're landlords and I'm a tenant. I'm not supposed to see, the place is not meant to be infested. I'm not paying to be for Jerry as well. I'm paying for me. So the 28th of January, I no longer stayed with the lights off because I was scared that, I'm not convincing myself. Jerry now, he's not scared. He was rolling in my room, doing up like he's just waiting for the bus, So once again, from my bed, this time it wasn't even my bed. He didn't even bother going around the bed. He just went right from underneath me while I was sat at my desk to under the wardrobe. And it happened about 3 or 4 times. What? And this time I wasn't holding back. I said, like that, 1 a.m. Like that. And I got up and I started going like, boom. I didn't want to see anything. This is the thing. I didn't want to see any mice anymore. I was sick of it now. They didn't even bother going around and under the wardrobe. I don't know if they had like a hut in the wardrobe or a nest, or I don't know what was going on. But they just went straight from under. They had no respect, none. So they went underneath my legs, not my legs, just next to my leg, under the wardrobe, 3 or 4 times, and then they came back out like that. It was goosebumps on top of goosebumps. I don't like mice. I don't like mice. A hamster or a mouse or a mice is oh, idiot. So a hamster or something in a cage where you can control where it is, fine. But seeing random mice droppings is nausea. Is nausea even the word? Just utter repulsion. It made me feel just like, imagine I have a hairbrush. I have a hairbrush and I drop it on the floor, the same place that the mice has been, and the mice goes everywhere, and I'm very like clean, you know. So I had enough, and I just started going like boom, boom with my feet, banging. I called my brother on the phone and I was in tears. I'm not even joking. I'm not even ashamed anymore. I'm not even ashamed. I was in tears. Okay. And I was in tears, okay? And I was like,
Please, I don't know what to do.
And I was banging, not to try and step on the mice. That is disgusting. I don't want to crush a mouse. Please, just like set it free somewhere. Wow. It's like they don't know I'm filming a video. So I was banging like, boom, boom. And I was on the phone, please. No, it was more like 3 a.m. and I'm like,
Hello? Please, there's mice in my room. There's many of them.
I was starting to lose my head. I didn't stop banging. I was, please. And at that time, it was like coming to be like exam season, I think. So people were I thought I broke it. So people were sleeping early and stuff. So I was just like, yeah, I don't want to bother anyone, you know. So I called my brother. What is he gonna do? I don't know what he's gonna do. He's not gonna do nothing. He's not gonna drive to Portsmouth to save me. So I'm just like, oh, what am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do? Okay, stop. Get it together. So I just kept banging and it didn't stop the mice. I'm banging, so now they're in panic mode. They're running from under my wardrobe out the door, and the gap in the door was like, it was a big gap, so they could easily come in and out, you know. But I thought, I don't have any food in there, I don't have any, you know, I had snacks in there, but you can't smell it. I've convinced myself that there is a hive underneath my wardrobe where they're all chilling. There has to be, because even as I was banging and crying and trying to get them to stop running around in my room, because they were everywhere at this point. Everywhere. It was, I can't believe it. I even stayed in that house anymore. I should have just asked for like a bloody refund, but it was dissertation year and I'm a film student, so it's not like I can go home and do my finish out my degree. Just for some people they're just like, you're so extra. This is extra. No. For me, this is, yeah. So my housemate ended up texting me at 2:46. So it had been a while. I had been dealing with the running around and the boom boom, you know, for like a while, because I remember starting my work like 1 a.m. and not long after that, it probably had been like half an hour of mice running around. So I can't even imagine to think how many mice were in there. Perhaps it was the same 4 that were just like, what were they doing? Like, what were they doing? Like running around in circles? Because they were all around the room, in basically like the rectangle. Was it some sort of ritual? Like they were all So my housemate ended up texting me around 2:46. She was like, "Can you hear that loud thudding? What is that?" And I was like, I've woken her up. Because she went to sleep early. Well, she went to sleep semi-early, yeah. Like 1 a.m. midnight-ish. Maybe even earlier than that, actually. I don't really remember. And she woke up really early, like, yeah. I think that's why me and her got along, because we're not stereotypical uni yeah, students. No. Can you hear that loud thudding? What is that? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was on the phone to them and I was like, oh my god, I've woke my housemate up on my, and I'm still I'm sorry, I'm not trying to see any more mice at this point. Let them be in my room, but I don't want to see them. So I was like, I'm so sorry, it's me. I've seen 3 mice in my room and I'm freaking out. I say 3 because it's like, there's no guarantee that there's more than that. For sure I've seen 3 separate mice in different places in my room. So I don't know if it's the same mice going back and forth, but it's 3 mice in my room. And she was like, OMG, do you want me to come and help? And I was like, no, it's alright, I don't want to disturb you anymore. So at this point I'm trying to like just be still and close my eyes, but I feel like the mice are climbing on me. This is like a phobia at this point. And then she was like, it's alright, dude, don't worry. Have you tried chasing them out with the door open? And I was like, yeah, I want to see if the library's open so I can go there. I didn't even care what she was talking about. I'm not opening the door so you guys can hear me freak out. Like, that's so, ugh. Yeah. And she was like, you can come and sleep in my room if you want. And I was thinking, I don't want to disturb this person. I'm the kind of person who's kind of like introverted as hell. So I'm not trying to be all up in your space. So I was like, no, I'm going to go to McDonald's. I'm going to go this place. I'm going to go that place. Everywhere but here. And she was like, no, it's fine. Come to my room, whatever. And she felt bad for me because I was freaking out about the mice. Yeah, 15 minutes. We've been texting for 15 minutes just about like, what the hell are you going to do? And I just woke her up. I think what really it was like, she's not, you're not really afraid of something and someone's freaking out about something. She's probably just like, oh, it's just mice, like, it's fine. For about 14 minutes actually, because it started at 2:46. I got to do maths, so I'm gonna keep showing that off because I haven't used maths since. So no, I'm gonna stop. I ended up spending the night in her room, and it just felt like a dream. Like, I woke up and I was like, where the hell am I? After all that happened, by the way, go back. I texted my landlord. For some reason I couldn't find the actual text message that I sent her. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't go straight to sleep, obviously. A good morning, landlord. Because it was a husband and wife, so they're not like corrupt. They were actually good landlords, actually. I was like, good morning. Last night I saw 3 mice in my room. It made me really uncomfortable to the point of me being unable to sleep in my room. Is it possible for someone to come out today and attempt to install something under my door, like a piece of wood, to prevent them from coming in and out and checking under my wardrobe in bed if there's somewhere which they are emerging from and or fitting in? Oh my god, I wasn't even typing sense. And or fitting in some wall under it to stop them from going under there, please. Somehow they are avoiding the poison which is being laid out. I'm going to let you finish real quick, but I know the thought of using poison to get rid of mice is super uncomfortable to some people. I wasn't trying to lie and be like, yeah, we only did it the non-poisonous way. No, I was literally one of those people who was rarely ever at uni. So when this happened, it just completely slipped my mind that it happened. The landlords took the initiative to get some poison to get rid of the mice. Mind you, the mice had been a problem in that house for at least a year before I even got there. So that's how they decided to deal with it. I'm so sorry to anyone that's super uncomfortable by the thought of poison being used, but that is what happened. Sorry. Continue, girl. Somehow they're avoiding the poison which is being laid out, and I'm not sure why they're coming into my room, as there is no food or dirty places in there, or dirty plates in there at all. Thank you, Elsa. She texted me saying she's sorry, her husband's going to come out and try and see what's going on. That ended up happening. He came into my room and he moved the wardrobe out of the way. Under the wardrobe there was droppings. Under the bed it was clear. It was clean as well. There was no dust, no dirt. Even he was like, do you live here? Like, who keeps a room this clean? But yeah, there was no dust. I didn't have any food in there. I ended up collapsing, taking out with him there. I was like, can you watch me do this, please? Because if a mice comes out, I'm going to run out. My desk was just a normal desk. There was nothing underneath there either. He ended up going and, you know, apologizing, whatever, and then going out and getting a piece of something that he put under my door to stop them coming in. That was just... I think that was what makes me really afraid of mice. And I know they're probably not going to hurt me, but the thought of it just being in there is just dirty, you know. From then on, I never stayed in that house. I went in that house to sleep, in that room specifically. I went because I'm convinced there's something that's attracting them under there. Maybe they've got a little layer, you know, Jerry's room. So yeah, from then on, I just stopped going in there, in my room. I only went in my room to sleep. And when I mean sleep, I mean like, I slept like this. One position. I got up, and it wasn't, you know, usually you get up, you sit on the bed. I got up like I was in prison, like military. Like someone came in and said, "Hey, up!" And I stood up, shoes on, never went with socks. I never been with socks anyway in my uni house, just never have. In my uni houses, any of them, I've never just gone around in socks because it's always like little bits. Ugh, disgusting. None of that. The only time I went in that room was to sleep and to change. I never ate in there anymore. There was nothing, no snacks, no nothing. So if it was a rainy day and we needed snacks in the house, I would starve. Fasting. I'm fasting from now on. I moved out of that house quickly. I spent another 2 months in there. I did my dissertation at home. I came home for everything. I was not able to relax in that house. It had mice in there. And the thing about that is even though I didn't see any mice in that house anymore because I didn't live there anymore, basically, my housemate said that every single time he would go into his room, the international student, every single time he would enter his room, he would see a few mice scatter. And he was just like, he was one of the, And then he said that he would be in his bed and he would just like hear, he would be chilling in his bed like this, and he would just hear like thudding on the floor, and he told me that it was the mice climbing onto his comforter, and that's what he believed, the mice like jumping onto his comforter and then dropping off because they're trying to get in his bed. He said that he saw mice running across his bed as well, and he was just like, and he's an international student, so he can't really even go anywhere, but luckily he had friends, so that would be alright with him staying. He was a party junior, so you know, people wouldn't even notice if he stayed somewhere, you know, a little too much, and he didn't even care. The person downstairs, the guy downstairs, he said he never saw a mouse. To the day he moved in, to the day he left, he never saw not even one mice, so he's lucky. And I know there was mice in the kitchen downstairs, so I don't know how he didn't see it. I will make another one about the house that hated each other, second year, when we all hate each other, featuring text like this. Oopsies, did you see that? We don't know. Check out another one. Alright then. See you on the flip side, dudes. Bye. What am I doing? A school presentation? No. So that is what, who does that? Who does something like this? Hello, I'm new here, so, why is the point of myself? Weird.